Chuck here, Hillbilly Half Acre Homestead. We're out in the rabbitry here. I know the lighting's horrible out here, but you know, it's like it's November or something, and the light ain't real good anyway. We've got one little light hanging on the wall over there, but it's not much help. I've tried doors on these rabbit cages all different ways, and I think the best way I like is like this, with them hinged on the top, and they swing inward. Anyway, so what we're going to do today out here in the rabbitry is you remember we were putting this drop down Nestbox together, and we got her done now, and we're going to put it on this cage. This is Ginger. She hasn't yet had any babies, but hopefully she soon will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, I believe, an 8x8 opening is what I use, and I don't have a tape measure with me, but I just count the openings in the wire. I'll count of the small ones, that's 1/2 inch by 1 inch wire, and I'm going to count 16 one way, and I'm going to come out a couple of spaces from the edge here. And now before you cut that last one, remember what we're counting is spaces here. We're not counting wire. So 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you're actually going to cut 15 times. Okay? And then what we want is 8 inches crossways. So make one cut crossways. Okay, there's 3 inches. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now that's got our dimensions laid out. So now all we have to do is I'm going to come across here. Right even with that. Get back, Ginger. Get back. There. Now then, we're just going to cut across here, and we'll be ready to put our Nestbox on. It's been a while since I filmed the first segment of this video where we put the drop down Nestbox together. I just hadn't got around to putting it on the cage. A couple times I had a chance to, but I wasn't set up or wasn't able to film at that time, and I wanted it, and I promised, even though there ain't a whole lot to it, I promised that I would show you all how that happens. So what happens is here, I've got a 14 inch, it's 10 inches this way, and it's 8 inches deep. Don't quote me on that, I don't have that in front of me, but I'll check that. That looks like 10 inches wide, they're 14 inches long, and I believe 8 inches deep is what we're using. And this will handle like say a New Zealand or a Californian. Basically a medium to large, well, not really a large breed. I don't think I'd consider a New Zealand a large breed. There's some quite a bit bigger, but anyway, you know, up to about an 8-9 pound, maybe 10 pound rabbit, something like that will work, because they've got more than enough. But there's an 8 inch square opening in the bottom of the cage. And now to fasten that on there, I've got these. Okay, so we got the J-clips and we got the pliers. And the way this works, okay, you set the J right in the pliers there, right like that, and it's ready to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cage and I'm going to hold this up to the bottom. I'm going to put my hand through here, and first off, we're going to try to get a couple of these on here just to help hold it in position. That way it don't take quite so many hands to do this. Okay. Alright, there's one. Now this I'm using, you'll notice I've used hardware cloth on a couple of these, and it works out pretty good. You can also use this 1/2 inch by 1 inch wire for the drop down nest boxes. It's a little stronger, but it's also a little more expensive. You know, if that's a factor, it always is a factor here. But I have used both. Mostly, I have some of the 1/2 inch by 1 inch wire, but I pretty much have hoarded it for another project, so that's why I'm using this. But you can see here what we're doing. We're putting the 2 pieces of wire together. We squeeze those and it crimps around the 2 pieces of wire and connects them together. Piece of cake. Now, since these do hold some weight, a little bit of weight, you know, you might have anywhere from say 4 or 5 to 12 kits in here, plus a mama dough full of milk. So I put about every 2 or 3 sections around here, I put one of these J clips, because I'd rather have too many as not enough. Which, I mean, I guess that's the way I look at pretty much everything. I'd rather have something overbuilt as to be too weak and fail. So, as you can see, the more of these that I put on there, it pulls that nest box into shape. That's why I wasn't too concerned about it being, you know, kind of warped a little bit there at the start. But it takes a lot longer to take these cages and cut them out and put them together than it does to actually install them in their final position. And once you've got some J clips on there holding that wire into position, then you can use the J clip pliers. You can use them with one hand, just like that, and use the other hand to hold that cage up into its spot. See, now see, this back here is still sagging a little bit. I don't have any J clips on there yet, but as you can see, when I go to do that, when I go to fasten like this back corner up, see, it's gonna, as it pulls that wire together, it's actually gonna be bracing the bottom of the cage as well. So, you know, that's a good thing. That'll help. It actually, even though you use weaker wire, it actually adds a little bit of stability to the bottom of the cage. These little J clips, this is the same thing I use to make all of these. Put these J clips back in the bag up here, so I can. Probably gonna have my elbow in the way here for a second, but I'm gonna try to get this corner fastened into place. And you gotta kind of, in these positions like this, you gotta kind of get it in there. I'm gonna turn it sideways and forward right there. There we go. Now see, that slid over, but what I do is I'll take and put a J clip in the next square right next to it as well, and that's gonna help hold it square. I mean, there's a bit of a trick to it, but these J clips make this wire so simple. I buy these locally. There's a pound of them in there, which is roughly about 450 to 500 of them in the bag. That's $4.95 plus tax. These J clip pliers, I think, do you remember? I think if you look in the poultry supply catalogs and stuff like that, they've got 2 different kinds, and I think this is the cheaper one. And I think I bought these locally, and I want to say these were $7.95 for the pair. Now they've got a what they call a heavy duty pair in the poultry supply catalogs, and I think those run somewhere in the neighborhood of $12. But these work out just fine for me. I've got 2 pairs of them somewhere. This was the pair I was able to find. But I bought a second pair as a backup. This was just the first pair I ran across when putting these together. So Can be a bit of a trick to get them started back here on the back. But anyway, you pretty well see what I'm doing. I won't bore you with the whole operation. I've got to finish going around here. See, I've got to put some back here and back here. I've got along this face. Oh, and I've got to put a few along right here. But then I'll finish this up, and then I'll come back in. I'll bring the camera in a little bit closer and show you a little closer of, the final, the final product, I guess you call it. And so we'll get back with you in a few minutes. Alright folks, Chuck here again. We got this Nestbox installed. I'm holding this camera by hand now. I hope this is not too shaky, but we've got to redo some of the floor here in the rabbitry, and there's just not a whole lot of ways we can set that tripod up in here, so I'm holding it. I'm hoping it's not going to be too shaky, but see right down there you can see the Nestbox hanging below. I'll see if I can get down here. I can't really see where I'm aiming here, but see right along here it's set in just inside. We've got this 8-inch opening. Here, I'll bring you back up here. See, we've got this 8-inch by 8-inch opening, and that's what all the others have. We've had babies born in every other section and every other drop down nest box, so trust me, it works. Okay, this is tried and true, tried and tested, or however you want to say it. But this is 10 inches wide. See here, these are the actual nest box right here is J-clipped. This is 10 inches. That's why you got 2 inches from here to the edge of the box, okay? And then you've got 8-inch. Here's the edge of your 8-inch opening right here. And then right back here, see, that's the edge of your nest box, okay? So what you've got is your doe is going to come down in this opening right here, okay? And she's going to make her nest right down here. Trust me, we've already seen it. She's going to make her, let me find my hand here. She's going to make her nest right in there when she's ready, okay? Now, Ginger is not pregnant right now, okay? But when it comes her time, she's going to need a nest box. That's why we went ahead, and I've been promising to show y'all when I put a nest box together and when I put it on, and that's how I did it. It's 14 inches long from one end to the other, okay? 14 that way. From top to bottom is 8 inches. And then again, it's 10 inches wide from here. I'll catch up with my hand here in a second. I'm not a very good camera person. Here's my hand. Come on, focus. Anyway, here's my hand. And then back here's the edge. That's 10 inches wide, okay? And what happens, this being 8 inches deep, she's going to put, when she builds a nest, she's going to make her nest probably about that deep. She'll start, see my alfalfa straws laying up in there behind her? When they go to make a nest, them won't be laying there. They'll be picking them up. I don't know, the alfalfa straws, they're either tough or bitter or something, and when they get real big, the rabbits don't like them as well. So they'll eat strip all the leaves off of them, the little stems and what have you. That heavy stuff right there, though, they like to make nests out of it, and they'll pick that up and they'll carry it down here into the nest box. And it might be over the course of the time they're making a nest for the next litter, it might get that deep, And I'm guessing that's probably 2-3 inches deep. And there'll be like a little bowl right here in the end. And this is where she's going to have them. Alright. Now, here's what we do. When they get to be about 3 to 4 weeks old, and they get to where they're jumping in and out of this nest box really well, to where they can get to mama, and they can, more importantly, see this? That's automatic watering spigot right there. Okay? Because we've learned over time, and this is one of those lessons learned in a bad way, but we've learned that if we take this nesting material, when they get about 3 to 4 weeks old, we'll take this nesting material out and leave just an empty box. Okay? By that time, they're furred good. Okay? The babies, their eyes are open. They're hopping around. They're doing just fine. They're eating. Here's the thing, though. Mama still will only feed them about once a day up until the point, and that'll usually be at night, up until the time that they're weaned. Okay? So what you have to keep in consideration is when you take this stuff out, if you have a litter that's not growing off as fast as is normal, and you have to pay attention to this. Sometimes when you take this 2 to 3 inches of nesting material out of here, those babies can't make it up out of this box, up onto this landing platform up here, to get to the food trough, or the hay when we throw it in here, or the water, or up here's a little mineral block. The babies can't get to all of that if they're not big enough to jump from the bottom here yet up here to the top. Okay, and that's about 8 inches. Okay, so what happens? The only hydration, the only moisture the young will get will be when mama comes to give them a little bit of nursing at night. Now keep in mind, when they get to be 3 to 4 weeks old, she's going to cut back, and she's not going to give them as much nursing. You know, she's not going to have as much milk. Number one, they're going to be bigger, and each one of them is going to take more milk, you know, per baby, and she's going to start manufacturing less, okay, because it's getting close to time for her to actually wean them. Now, if they can't jump out of this nest box and get up here to get to this automatic watering spigot, and yeah, they learned how to use it quickly if they can get to it, they're going to die of dehydration. Okay? And it's something, and it's harsh, and nobody likes to see that. I can tell you, over the years, that's something that I have learned, unfortunately, by experience. And I have lost litters and didn't know why. And so what I do, what we do now, when we have babies in here and we don't think there's a chance, because we take this nested material out of here because the babies still see this as home. This is where they feel secure, and they bundle up in here and they sleep in here and they poop and pee there. Okay? And so what happens is, as they get older, this turns into a stinky, unsanitary mess. Okay? It draws flies in season. It draws, you know, just about anything, a bacterial growth, you know, sickness basically. And we clean that out of there, okay, for that reason. That way when the babies go to the bathroom in here, it falls through the wire and hits the floor. Okay, problem solved. Except if the babies aren't big enough or strong enough yet, when we do that, say it's a smaller litter, it didn't grow off as fast. If you've got a litter of 5, they're going to grow and get to be bigger faster than a litter of 10 or 12, obviously, okay, because the doe mama is only going to make a set amount of milk, and she's going to divide it up amongst what babies she has. So if she's got 12, she's dividing it up amongst 12 instead of 5. Obviously, each baby gets less milk, so therefore it grows slower, okay? It's just, you know, it's just common sense. So what do we do about it? Well, it's real simple. All you do is you take a red clay brick. It'll fit in here. You can use 1 or you can use 2. They're about, what, so thick? About the thickness of your bedding material. And you put it right here in this end, right underneath this opening. And what happens is, if the babies could jump out with that nesting material in there, you put a red clay brick right here in this end, and they can jump on top of that, and then they can jump out. Yes, when they get thirsty and they want to go snuggle up to mama and what have you, they will figure it out. And it won't take them long. It's just like this watering spigot right here. It doesn't take them no time at all to learn how to use that. All they have to do is be thirsty, and they'll see mama go over and use it one time, and then they're set. Okay? For their life, they're never going to forget what that's for. Okay? So I hope this helps somebody, gives you a little bit of information. Okay? I'm not a vet. I'm not, you know, I'm not formally educated in any way. But I am what I consider better than formally educated. It's all education that comes from experience. So it's been tested over time, and you know, it's just, if I can share that with you, that's something that you don't have to take 10 years to learn. You know, you can learn it a lot quicker than I did. And that's why we make these videos. That's why we share information when we can. These drop-down nest boxes, it's hard to beat. But you want to use the small squares for the wire when you make them. That's the main thing. That's the main thing, okay? And you want to keep them clean. We even go so far, we still do that, don't we, Diane? Take a spray bottle with some bleach, and we'll actually, after we get wean a nest of babies out of here, like say if she had babies and she had them in here and we weaned them and we put them into a grow out pen somewhere else, we'll actually take and we'll spray around in here with diluted bleach water. Just as a precaution for sanitation reasons, and occasionally we even move the does out for a short period of time, and we'll bleach the whole entire bottom of the cage. But we at least try to get the nest boxes every every nesting round, right, Dana?
Yeah.
And then, you know, but in the summer, bacterial growth, it's just like, you know, they keep a hospital cold, right? That's to slow bacterial growth and to help prevent the spread of infection in the hospital. Okay. Same thing happens here in the winter. In the wintertime, the cool months like now, you know, it's November, we're in pretty good shape, okay? But when it comes time in the spring and it starts warming up, bacterial growth will increase and you have to be more careful. And so a lot of times in the spring and sometimes in the late summer, we will actually move these does out of here into a temporary cage or one of our little carrying cages or something, isolate them for a little while, and spray down the bottoms of the whole cage, or actually spray down the whole cage. And we'll even put a little bleach in their bucket reservoir up there that holds their water, and we'll pull the other end of the hose loose and we'll let that bleach water run through the tube and clean all of that out, so that you know, that can be cleaned. You see here on this hose, this was clear hose. I'm sure a lot of y'all remember when we put this up here, I showed you how when we put that one up on the outside. This looks brown.
I think it's close to that wrist, so.
This is stained tubing, folks. I can pull this apart and I can show you clear water will run out of here. This is stained for two reasons. Number one, in the summer it gets a little algae growing in there, and we'll run some apple cider vinegar or some bleach water through there and we'll kill it. But it'll stain the inside of the clear tube, okay? And not only that, we use, I don't know if we've ever showed you, but we use a vitamin and mineral supplement. It's actually made for horses, so we use just a very little bit of it, but it's called Red Cell. And you can buy it at, you know, your Tractor Supply or any of your, you know, livestock and farm supply places. You can find it. If you can't find it, you can order it online. It comes in a big gallon red jug. I think it's about $20. But if you're giving it to rabbits, it'll last, you know, like 10 years, because, you know, you put just maybe a half a teaspoonful into a 5-gallon bucket. Again, it's for horses, so it's concentrated, so we dilute it down.
But we give it to everybody.
We put it into our automatic waterers. Probably a half a teaspoon to a 5-gallon bucket, and then we'll fill it up with cool, clean water and let it mix together, and that'll stain the inside of these. So, but that's the reason for a lot of that. And it could be needing another flush. There could be a thin film of algae in there, but even if it was that and it all came out, there's still going to be some staining on the inside of that tube, because that Red Cell, it is a red color. It's got agave, and I think it's got pomegranate, and I don't know what all. It's got a real fruity smell to it, and it's got a real blood red color to it, and it'll stain the inside of these. Did I say a fruity color to it?
Yes, fruity
I meant a fruity smell to it. Yeah.
I don't have a fruity smell either. It stinks.
Well, it's got a fruity smell. It's just so many different fruits mixed together in it, but the animals love it. It's good for them. It goes along with these right here. It adds, I don't think it has salt in it, but it has a lot of trace minerals and vitamins and things like that. Again, you know, it's made for horses, so it's pretty stout stuff. So a gallon of it, when we buy it for rabbits, it'll last a long, long time. So anyway, we hope this gives you some information, and we thank you for watching. And you know, if hopefully this will help you out some and give you some ideas. If you think this is deserving of such a thing, why, hit that like button if you wouldn't mind, or maybe leave a comment if you don't like it. If you like it or if you don't like it. You know, thumbs up, thumbs down, we don't mind either way, but if you wouldn't mind, leave a comment below and let us know what you didn't like about it, if you didn't like it. That way maybe we can do something different in the future and make something you do like. All right, y'all have a great day. God bless.